Oh, welcome back to the THP Strength Podcast. On today's episode, we're talking about rate of force development. We're doing it from afar today because we trained our what's off. We're trying to be more PC and we forgot. So we're back in the studio, baby, with the mics. And Isaiah, you did some interesting RFD stuff today with me. How did you feel? Did you like it?
Yeah.
You big fan? Let's define rate of force development. What is rate of force development?
It's
Simply
the
put.
rate at which your force develops.
Yes, Isaiah, ding, 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 correct. So it's essentially how fast does your force go be on a force plate, right? Which we have force plates.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. And yeah, essentially it is the probably number one determinant, specifically in reactive activities. So when you're talking about reactive activities, you're talking about going up or down and then up really fast. That is reactive rate of force development. So you can have rate of force development eccentrically, downward. You can have it upwardly, concentrically. You can have it isometrically. All of those are very important. And how you store and release energy really, really well is also measured with rate of force development. So Isaiah, what are some of your favorite concentric or just up phase RFD exercises? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you feel like they help?
I love them.
Yeah? What are your favorites?
Yeah. Power cleans.
Yeah. Second pull measured specifically how I like to do it is put the load in power clean like between 50 and 70% and move that so fast on the second pull. So we looked at VBT for Josh. This is a major emphasis for him. If you're really, really strong, Isaiah,
It goes up.
oh, yes, but if you're really, really strong, but you don't jump very high.
Oh yeah, get in there and do some fast shit. Fast stuff.
Fast stuff. So I've been doing quite a bit of this, and I have done it in different iterations with step-up jumps. And I have Josh doing them right now. He actually, his rec fem, because he's so anteriorly tilted at his pelvis, got a little tweak-a-rood. So we had him do it on the box, and we had him do just foot sitting on the box, and then just basically reactively, boom, generate as much force as you can. Really, really good for triple extensors, the hip, the knee, and looking at the ankle as well. So triple extensors, we know triple extensors is really important. Isaiah, what are some other iterations that I've used that you've seen me use of that exercise?
Of the step up?
Yeah, the step up progression. We got jump progression.
We got repeat step up jumps. We got it with a stomp. Stomp your foot into the bench. I've seen, were you doing drops into the bench step up?
I did it off the truck, truck bed.
Yeah.
What was your what do you think? That was fun. I like that one a lot. It's probably one of the most fun and novel training stimuli I've ever used as a reactive RFD exercise. So I progressed. I went from the box or the bench first and just max force. And that was mostly timing, learning how to time up my hip first, putting myself in a position where you're kind of forced to load up your hip. And then the next one I did was with a drop. So I would like stand on the box, drop down, and then explode out of it. Then I did repeat. So I would like jump, land, jump, land, jump, land. And I would do it without my foot touching the ground. And then I did it like shock loading. So I stood on the bed of my truck, dropped down onto one foot, which was probably like a 24-inch drop or something.
Yeah.
And then land.
Maybe a little higher from the bed of the truck.
Yeah, but it's onto the box. Like so.
Oh yeah. It's like 24.
Yeah, something like that. And that was probably one of the most specific things I've done that seemingly moved the needle for me, that and losing weight. And then another one that I really liked was the split squat variants for RFD. So I did split squat and I went from the pins, which I actually maxed today. I say, you need to send me those videos. And I did.
It was a terrible video.
You took a terrible video?
Yeah.
Shout out.
I'm going to show it in the chat, actually.
So if you're a 1-footer, this is going to be that. Donovan, is that Josh? Just what the is? That's a terrible video. That's okay though. So I've done it like different positions. So I started lower and then I progressed up from the pins, and then I did it from the front rack position for RFD. So it's literally, and then I've done it reactive. So Isaiah would say go, or someone would say go from a split position. So that's more specific. And then I've done it with rhythm. So I've like done it where I pause and just do one, and then I've done it where it's just repeat. And that's actually where I failed. That was probably the most intense shock loading, but I also jumped relatively high after doing a lot of that stuff. So it's definitely helped me quite a bit. For 2 foot, Isaiah, what do you feel like are the exercises for you in terms of rate of force development other than power cleans that you feel like have moved the needle?
All right. I've done hex bar jumps and barbell squat jumps. The first time I ever did barbell squat jumps, my vertical skyrocketed. That was actually the month before I pulled my quad, which is always a good indicator I'm in good shape when I pull my quad.
Explain that. Go into detail about that, because I've talked about it extensively, but why?
Because your tendons stiffen up, and then your quad is trying to yank on it, and it's strong enough to yank on it, and it ends up pulling.
So when the tendons stiffer, your bony tendon musculotendinous junction is really stiff. It yanks harder than the muscle can yank, and that's when you tweak it. And that's usually when you see the highest, reactivity. I think too.
Oh yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I think like, in shock loading, like stiffness hops and stuff like that, I've tweaked my calf whenever I've been like double leg, 150 milliseconds on the ground, just snapping off it. Yeah, that lower leg. And I've never really had any lower leg issues like in my soleus, but when I really, really got fast on and off the ground, that was brutal. Like even sprinting, I don't have that happen. The forces aren't, I guess, high enough. I don't know.
It was especially in the first year and a half of training with you, when we were doing like normal training, not load management. It was like clockwork. Get stronger, then move into RFD work, and my vertical would skyrocket. What changed is I've had phases, like periods of time, where I'm doing RFD work and my vertical doesn't go up, but I was less robust as an athlete during those periods of time.
Do you think you weren't trying as hard? Like your intent was low?
It's not that. I think to get more out of it, you need to like physiologically change during your general work.
Like you train to train. You need to train to train.
I didn't train to train hard enough to get to reap those benefits from the power work. I feel like I've seen it happen a lot. Like with Austin, I've seen it happen where he gets into more specific stuff, but he's like out of shape, and
like
it just always ends up. Yeah, and usually guys are pretty excited to like get into it, like they want to do it, but it's like you gotta earn it in a way.
That's how I feel about eccentric work too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it can be
eccentric work as well.
Really good long term, but acutely, if you're not ready for that stimulus, it just doesn't.
Yeah, but some of the highest periods of time, some of my highest jumping like months came at the tail end of a lot of RFD work. Like another good example is what I was just telling the guys at your house this. The first time I reached 50, I think, was 6 months before I actually tested 50. It was, I don't know if you remember when I dunked with Billy and we did all the boys are athletes. They're like throwing it.
Oh, yeah.
We're all doing dunks. That session, I had a height check. I think Anthony's like THP, like in the back, like when I did the height check. But that was a period of time where I was doing a lot of RFD work. Just a lot of fast stuff. Like I was sprinting a lot, I was bounding. Then a year later, we went back into it, and I was doing, this is like the Zay cycles, but we would do like med ball jumps. Like I was holding a med ball and like squat, go up.
Yeah, that was during the eccentric
jumps,
work.
Dumbbell squat jumps. I think we actually this is long conjugate sequence systems. We put dumbbell squat jumps in the middle of a general cycle. Like instead of doing my power cleans, I was doing squat jumps, and then I was hitting like 4x14 squat. Those two were paired together. We've paired a lot. I've done a lot of RFD stuff. Like now, like thinking about it, like I could go probably 5 minutes straight just listing all the RFD things we've done.
You've done a
Make me
lot of
realize how much
different variants. We've done split lunge jumps. We've done clean pulls, power cleans, power snatch, high pull, like snatch, high pull,
pin
high pull,
squats, explosive, like 70%.
Yep. I like
even
those a lot.
squats the hard way. Even squats the hard way when we strip off the weight and then from the bottom, move the weight fast.
It's fun too because now I'm starting to get into it with these guys because they've kind of accumulated, some good cycles. Like Josh, I think has done 4 mesocycles at this point with me, like in person, and his outputs this past week, even after, I said like he kind of tweaked his rec fem sprinting. He was fine. Like he was fine by Saturday or Friday. What day did they jump? Saturday?
That was Friday.
Friday. And Josh had probably one of his highest jumps ever, like outdoor.
And like 3 max jumps.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm good to jump. I was like, I don't know about that. So we call it Ruble 1, Chowder 1. There's a couple other names for it that he wanted, but I haven't been able to list those publicly.
It works. That's why when I see, like, it's the age-old argument in the jump training space, like, why not just get stronger and jump? But I've just seen it work too many times at this point. Like, with like big sample sizes.
Yeah.
Like,
I think too, one of the other aspects that I was thinking about was, the argument about sprinting is, well, if you want to get faster, you have to sprint because the ground contact times are, really specific. You have to get under 100 milliseconds on and off the ground, upright sprinting, or, acceleration, you're 130-ish, something like that. But just because it doesn't always look like it doesn't mean intramuscularly it's not specific or neurally it's not specific. You can like what's really high forces are specific.
I also
forces in the muscle. So there's a lot of other things that are specific, even, and it's a continuum too,
Yeah. I also don't know if this is like a fallacy, like an argument, like an
confirmation bias,
like a logical fallacy, whatever, however it is.
Probably.
It's like types of fallacies you use in arguments. Like people like argue for
it's a straw man.
Yeah. But the leave no stone unturned. Like I almost feel like you should in case it does work. It reminds me of I don't want to get deep into it, but like when people argue for religion, they're like, you should be religious just in case there is a heaven. Like you don't want to, and it's almost like there's so much evidence for power work that like why even not do it? Like I don't know. Like there's I don't see a downside. I don't see a downside to doing it.
And it's like, again, it's a continuum. So, if you're looking at plyos and loaded hex bar jumps, like, is that a plyo? Like, I mean, and even then you would get into some arguments about different timelines for the stretch reflex or stretch shortening cycles and what tendons can and can't store and release and things like that. And I think it's all important. It's just a matter of when you use it. And because we're jumping all the time, we're always checking that box of doing some sort of like rate of force development. It's obviously, it's always rate of force development. You can't remove it or isolate it in a sense from jumping.
Balance. Like I would say like guidelines to stick to are like, don't do it the whole year, have certain times of the year where you're doing it. I think at least once a year, it's important to touch on that. Even if it's for like, 2 or 3 cycles out of 9, out of 12, I mean.
You're saying the RFD work?
Yeah. And then I think you have to be very careful with your jump volume and jump sessions when you're doing it. You have to be very mindful of like chondromalacia, like cartilage stuff when you're doing it.
That's like what I've been realizing with Fabian too. Like his jump sessions are just too long, and backing off of that has allowed us to be more specific, but also in lower volumes. And I think you've probably seen it with me too. Like my volumes have gone down, and I've kind of like internally known this recently, was body weight. I was out training a bad diet essentially. So when I dropped my volumes and I also had less time, and then I was like, okay, I'll just eat less so that I can like cut down a little bit. I was able to jump higher because the quality was so much higher. Like I am getting close to that age. Like it's weird to say I'm 32, but yeah, that's crazy. I'm 32 as a 1-foot jumper. But I don't have as much time to
Put the weapon
train.
down, John.
Yeah, I don't have as much time to train. And, as we get busier with work and things like that, that also makes it a little bit tougher. But I also am not as resilient to, just all those injuries kind of like building up. I realized the number one thing that's going to determine if I jump high or not is like, am I healthy enough to try 100% in a session?
Yeah. We're in the
And
same boat.
yeah. That's because I have a 50-inch vert. Most people don't know that, but
nah, it's definitely time and place for it. More and more I realize how much guys overjump. I think
I've always thought that, but it was like built into the culture early on. Like Steven Seller would be like, I'm gonna have a pre-jump day before my jump day.
Yeah, I think it's important too when you're young. Like when you're really young and your outputs are lower. Like
Hoop and Nate.
How you dial in, it's how you dial in your jump technique. But once it's dialed, like I think people jump way too much. And I think it's because of the sport of dunking. Well, it depends on your goals. If you're trying to hit new dunks, they require a lot of reps. And that's what makes it difficult. But if you look at guys that get plateaued, it's probably the guys that are trying to go for new dunks all the time. Like people that plateau their verticals. Because it's too much. It's too much. And this is at the forefront of my mind because of how trashed I am from this session on
the outdoor
Wednesday.
session where you tested?
Yeah. Like I tested and it wasn't even that crazy. It was like 10 extra jumps, but testing, and it was just like how much it throttled me. And then I'm thinking the negative effects of that, like it could be a training stimulus, but the quality of the lifts afterwards have dropped so much that it's almost like,
dude, your last 2 lifts have been doo-doo. They've been poo-poo doo-doo.
Yeah, like it almost would be if you're taking a long-term approach, it would be better to leave the sessions fresh and then go hard in the weight room. But like you should be leaving, like you shouldn't have that feeling of like, when we're like about to pass out, like after we're like, oh, like I think the ideal session is you warm up, and this is specifically for like advanced guys. It's like you go in there, warm up, get the pan hot, 3 to 5 max jumps, cut it.
Get the pan hot. That's a throwback. 2019, 2020.
Pan hot.
I always just say get the pan hot.
Like
and then just,
anytime I've treated sessions like that, like progress just goes, and then you can do awesome
train
stuff
hard
in the weight room. Like think about the power clean max out that I did last week. Like being able to catch it there. Like I normally wouldn't be able to do that because I'm so trashed from the session.
Yeah.
And it's
like Wednesday's the only day you could.
Yeah.
Because if you dunk on Friday or Saturday, Monday's gonna suck. But usually jump on Friday. So you feel good lift Saturday. It's usually just whatever, 265 belt squat or something. Sunday off, Monday you come in, you're still not recovered if you jump a lot. Wednesday's the only day you can push, but you don't want to push too hard that day, especially on anything that's going to load your TFL or your tendons too much. So then Friday, you're kind of like in this in between where you kind of adapted from the jump session, but you didn't really adapt to anything in the week. And then I think one thing we've done really unintentionally, or as I like to say, unintended consequence, is because we're trying to get you healthy, we've had to keep the session short, which has allowed you to push a little more in the weight room on Monday. And then you're able to like kind of microdose well. And sometimes even Wednesday. And then it's this undulating, unintended undulation where like you'll jump a lot one week, when you feel really good. And then you kind of like back off or you go up 1 foot or something like that. Week, and then you come back really, really
like
well.
Next week, I'll probably come in feeling amazing. If I were to only jump off 1 foot or cut the session this week, go in feeling insane the next week, and then the training, and then it's kind of like a feedback. Then you jump high and the undulation.
It's like a 14-day. It's like a 14-day mesocycle, and I mean it's something that is not necessarily. It's a lot of auto regulation in your case because the goal is to keep you healthy right now, and I think that's probably different than what a lot of people that listen to this are used to, because you're used to us just destroying Isaiah in the weight room. But he's moved into the era that I was in when I was, what are you, 28? Are you 28?
I'm about to turn 28, and holy moly.
Wait, when's your birthday?
Like the 26th. That's in 18
Wow.
days. What?
Comment what we get Isaiah for his birthday.
An Aventador. Let's start a GoFundMe. Let's do a GoFundMe, guys. Come on, do it.
THP Aventador.
I would be so mad if that worked, but like not guys signing up for THP. I'd be so disappointed.
I'd be pissed too. Well, this is a good place. I feel like to cut it off. Thank you guys for listening. Go to teachmestrength.com if you want to get coached by us. And also, if you want a free 69-page guide, click the link.
Everything's in the description. Just look in the description for
everything's there.
Whatever you want.
See you, folks.
The world is yours.
Bye.